Director Castaneda went to the rest. I have
No,
sorry, Jan.
in the
It's okay.
I don't even want to hear members of the public speak. Guys did a great job tonight. It's going to be a good video. Should have helped him, man. We were canceled.
He's coming back.
I told you, sometimes I gotta show up. I also highlight good things government does too when they do it good, but this is far from it. Far from it. As a matter of fact, the chair, he's also the chair for San Diego Community Power. They don't treat me like that at their meetings. They know better.
Council, we're back in quorum.
Yeah, so I think we can resume from the pause and resume the meeting.
Council, would you please reiterate that the board's not able to dialogue with any speaker? That the board is able to dialogue. That's just a comment.
Yeah, usually it's commonplace not to, but you're not prohibited from answering questions during the
Okay, thank you, Council. So we're going to, General Manager, do you have any comment on 8.2, sir?
Yes, well, I'll present the item, Chair. This is, we do this every year per an agreement with the labor groups.
Yes.
So we agreed to cost of living adjustment for an amount of 4.5% for IBW members and 3% for middle management, and confidential. CalPERS requires that a resolution be adopted by the board, so that's why we're bringing this resolution. All the information you need is in the report. There is no staff presentation except what was provided in the packet. Along with the resolution, we do bring the salary schedule for information to let you know how the agreed upon cost of living adjustment will impact the salaries.
Thank you.
And just for background, this is year 3 of the MOU with all 3 groups. And for middle management and confidential, year 1, the agreement was a 6% increase and a 3% on years 2 and 3. And for SAC back, before IBW, now IBW, it was 4.5% per year. So we're in year 3 of the agreement.
Of the MOU.
I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, thank you. Board, any other comment?
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Thank you.
Director.
Thank you very much. I recognize this is a formality in the CalPERS resolution requirement. I would love in the future to see the staff report include the percentage increases for the current year. We've got the history of 24 and 25, but I appreciate that GM verbally stated the increases for 2026. But I think if those could be included in the future, that would just help, again, with clarity. I did notice some strikeouts of the word unfunded on attachment 2. And I was wondering, GM, based on the conversation at one of the recent budget discussions, you had mentioned there's a legal requirement for all positions to be budgeted.
I didn't say there is, I think I said I think there is. I don't think I stated that as fact. Dr.
Okay.
Cox.
So thinking there
I know,
is.
interestingly, we got a request from a member of the public asking for any information related to my statement. So I reiterate, I didn't state it as fact.
Okay, so, sorry, I'm not privy to what requests you get from the public, but the
Right.
question being, what has changed with regards to positions that were unfunded that apparently now are, and it may or may not be a requirement that all positions in the budget be funded based on what you've just said?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure which positions. Let me look at the, which positions are you referring to?
There's several of them in the track changes attachment 2 that had parenthetical references to unfunded, and
Like which one? Can you give an example, please?
I sure can. A special assistant to the board, office assistant, program analyst, training clerk, equipment service worker, buyer 1, welder 1, welder 2, water quality clerk 1 and 2.
Yeah, these are probably positions that we don't have, I like to think that we put them, they were a position at some point in the org chart and they're no longer used. So they're there as placeholders, if you will, but we're not using those positions. And maybe Leticia can weigh in on this if she's in the
She is, she's
audience.
coming. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Chair and Board, General Manager. So CalPERS has provided us guidance several years back that in an effort to have a business practice that any position that the authority has previously held stay on the salary schedule. Indefinite.
Oh.
Okay, so one of the designations previously was it was a practice that was followed by the HR team at the time. They would list and cite it as unfunded. The reality is that those positions have been vacant and have been vacant for a number of years, right? So the reality effort to maintain the integrity of the job classification, that's where it's still listed here today. And so the designation, it's proposed as we move forward per compliance with CalPERS guidelines of maintaining a full integrity listing of all of our classifications we've ever had. It is why you see them there. Most of them, in accordance with the general manager's previous statement a minute ago, they are in fact vacant. And I think that's an important noted fact for all of your knowledge. Additionally, if I may, General Manager and Chair, there was a comment made about the board agenda item lists each employee group that's represented, and it goes back to the original attribution of the salary schedule per the MOU on page 1 and 2 of the board item. The salary schedule that's attached to this item actually reflects the proposed increase that's before you for your awareness, information, and that scale upon your discussion and decision here today will be then submitted to CalPERS. We would go through processing upon your review and approval here tonight. No action is taken until your governing board has the opportunity to not only make the schedule public, it is actualized to reflect IBW at the 4.5% for all of its unit members, middle management, MMG, and CG equally included, and it's already actualized before you to include those increases.
So Leticia, just to clarify, are you saying that because it's not yet board approved, you cannot put in the staff report that the contracts were negotiated to include this 4.5 and 3% rate in 26?
Well, no, it is referenced on page 1 and page 2 of the board agenda item. If you look towards the bottom, like I delineate the salary increases for IBW for 24, 25, and then if you turn over, you see the rest, right, listed.
Yeah, but not 2026, that was just the question. Because
Yeah.
it's a 3-year.
Right, because that's before you, right? I mean,
So why not, I'm just wondering, is there a reason you can't tell us that in the
If I
report,
may,
that what's
Chair,
before
if I
you?
may,
defer.
I think these are what Director Cox is referring. There's no mention of the 3% for middle management for this year, so for fiscal year 26, 27 on the report. But it might be just a minor omission, but I'm letting you know that it's a 3% for middle management and confidential, and 4.5% for IBW.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Right.
just again, clarity, right?
Right, well, I'm providing clarity now, I
thank
think
you.
I am.
Appreciate it. All right, the last question I had heard that there was a water supply development advisor that had been hired, and I'm wondering if that is like a working title maybe of what's on page 158, the Associate Engineer, Water Resources and Environmental, or is that maybe a new position that's?
I don't think we list annuitants. Leticia, can you clarify that, please?
yeah, so, just to clarify, is a designation under lines that, under meeting a certain level of a definition, we go through a process of presenting the position, the scope of work, and CalPERS designates the propriety to identify a position, which in this case is a water advisor. It's considered a retired annuitant with a very fixed number of hours that they're allowed to work per their agreement with CalPERS. They work with us as a retired annuitant. They would not be reflected in our salary scale or mentioned as it's supplemental support to the agency, but not an item that's before you, which is represented employees. That position is an advisor with a very limited end time to their service contract.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, Leticia. As I recall, it's like half time over the rolling 12-month period for annuitants, right? It's like 900-ish hours.
Yeah, I was gonna
usually.
say, just to clarify and for the record, for the chair, CalPERS guidelines are very specific. We have to track through a separate matrix. It's not to exceed 960 hours of this particular retired annuitant. But we advise that at the commencement of their service contract.
For answering the questions, and if I want to thank our employees for all of their work in FY26, and as we happy to move approval of this staff recommendation.
Director, I have a motion to approve or adopt of this resolution for adopting a salary schedule for all represented employees effective July 1st of 2026. I have a motion soliciting a second. Thank you, Director Martinez Perez. I have a motion and a second. Any other comment? Seeing none,
Director Castañeda?
Yes.
Director Cox?
Aye.
Director Delgado?
Aye.
Morrison is absent. Director Yamari?
aye.
The motion passes unanimously with Directors Martinez and Morrison absent.
Thank you. Item 8.3, consideration to authorize repairs for filter 4 at the Purdue Water Treatment. 3, Board Secretary. Are there any public comments?
There's no public comments, Chair.
We are doing some work, maintenance work with the fund, and as we remove the filtering in the installation of the, we found out that we're recommending repair at this time. I think Justin has a better, he does have a presentation to share with you, so
Thank
I'll
you.
to Justin if you don't mind, Chair.
Thank you. Director,
Thank you,
your
Chair.
floor.
So consideration to authorize filter 4 at the Purdue Water Treatment Plant. So the Purdue Water Treatment Plant's rated for 30 million gallons per day of production. The primary pre-treatment process is dissolved air flotation, or suspended particles from the water. Most of the removal occurs there, and then the filters kind of polish the water before it goes into the clear well and ultimately becomes treated water. In total, we have 4 filters at the plant, each capable of per day, so gallons per day of capacity allows us the ability to have a filter offline, still meet maximum production, backwash a filter, wash it, and meet maximum production. The filters were originally installed in 1959 when the plant was built, but they went through a major rehabilitation project in 2008, where all the filter media was replaced. A new supporting underdrain system was installed, and we also backwash capabilities by adding an air scour system to help this. So just you can see the filters there as you drive into the plant, right there in front of the 4 boxes. It's indicated on the filter number 4 is the first filter you would see as you're driving into the plant. Just so you know, and the photo there on the left is what a typical filter looks like. The filters have a channel in the center where the water flows in, and then they're divided into 2 filtering cells each. So this particular filter, and in fact all the 4 filters, none of them were experiencing any catastrophic issues, nothing alerting to staff, but we did become aware, we were informed by Helix Water District, who has a similar underdrain system as ours, however, 10 years older than ours, but still the same system, that they started experiencing failures. And so they gave us a warning that, you know, because you have the same system, and not just Helix, but some other water systems as well, you might want to take a look at your filter. And so we put money in the budget to go ahead and do a filter inspection. And so we, at the staff level, issued a request for quote for the filter inspection, and ERS Industrial Solution Services was selected. And they do have experience with Leopold underdrain systems. They also inspected and performed work at Helix Water District. We selected filter number 4 to be our representative filter to see what it looks like. To do a filter inspection, it's not something routine, like where we just look from the surface. To actually do this underdrain inspection, we have to remove sand and the anthracite filtering material from the filter. And so sitting behind the dissolved air flotation process right now, I have a photo later in the slide, we have 62 bags of media, about 100 tons of media sitting out there right now. They had to be removed just to see what we need. And so on the left there is the 62 super sacks of sand and anthracite sitting there that were removed from the filter. The photo on the right is what the filter looks like without the media, and that's a unique view because, you know, we've been on tours before, we're always seeing anthracite on the top, and we never see the sand because it's more dense and heavy and it sits below. So you see there, that's what the media sits on, and they look like algae pores, and so the point, the media to stay in the filter and the water to pass through, of course. And what's happened at Helix Water District, and the reason I believe they started having failures, is those underdrains started clogging, and so as you send water backwards to the via, it starts creating extra pressure, and eventually you can start dislodging those caps, and you can start losing filter media through them. The good news from the inspection, as far as the results, is there was no widespread system. We did identify things why we have the media out. It's a good opportunity, you know, be proactive and make some repairs. It does become problematic operationally in the future. And you know, since we're already dewatered and we have all the media removed, we're bringing this item now because it would be efficient to go ahead and do the work now versus put the media back in and do it at a later date. We all back out again. And I think I have it in the fiscal impact section myself, but it would be probably about $55,000 to $60,000 or so to take the media out. So, like I said, overall, good condition, 18 years since the last rehabilitation. The anthracite and sand meeting original specifications, so we don't have to replace. That would be very. What's called an imperfection, of one of the caps that's allowed some sand to get underneath what's called the gullet of the filters. So underneath the filter, that was actually confined space entry. We had to drain in there, and they found a pile of sand. but also under all those black caps there was sand. And to remove the sand is much more difficult. And if you can imagine behind those black caps, every time we wash a filter, it pushes that sand up against the bottom of those caps. And over time, there's concern that that could cause dislodging like others have seen. And so overall, for 18 years, 5 years, 1 year, there's really no way to know. It's not a lot of loss, but it could get worse. And so here's some photos of what that cap looks like. The underside of the cap is, fouled with, manganese and other contaminants that they kind of get stuck to the bottom of the cap. And that's something that would increase differential pressure, for example, over time. And then the photo in the middle there, you can see how the sand's underneath the cap. And to remove that sand's actually not so straight. Well, just labor intensive. All the caps have to be removed in order for that to be the filter, essentially. So all those caps have to be taken, and then all the grout has to be put involved there. The gap they found, it's only about 1/4 inch. It's pretty small, but that's how the sand was migrating through the caps to the bottom of the filter. So a photo on the left there is the underneath those caps, what we call the gullet of the filter, and you see the pile of sand there. A little bit of anthracite, but mostly sand. Sand's more dense, and it sits on top of the caps. The anthracite sits on top. The photo on the right is on the wall of the filter. It runs along the north and south side. Note it here in the present for $5,000 next. The crack goes all the way to the bottom to the past the media. Something would be an opportune time to go ahead and take care of that. And so the recommended remove and clean all the caps, the sand and the underdrain. They would actually take the caps off-site, chemically clean them to restore them to like new condition. Replace all the caps with stronger hardware, so they would reinstall them with oversized screws, and then repair the seals that were damaged. Reseal everything, all the grout in between all those caps has to be replaced. Repair the concrete joint that I identified in the previous slide. And then it's also an optional task, but we're recommending it is just to grout and epoxy all those caps down into the filter. It makes them much stronger and much less likely to move in the future. And then replenish the 1 inch of sand that was lost to bring it back to regular specifications. And so ERS has performed similar inspection and work for Helix Water District under drain system. So water district, they've been very transparent in the work that they've had done there, and so feel comfortable recommending ERS to the governing board to do this work. Helix spent roughly $1 million in rehabbing 4 of their 8 filters through the same and been performing well. We didn't have the funding for repair. What we were going to find, and if we had repairs, we had no idea what they would cost. The repair on ERS's quotes coming in $181,230. Staff's recommending transferring $185,000 from contingency, which gives us close to $4,000 just for contingency if there's anything unforeseen. We need another sack of sand or anthracite or something like that comes up. But the transfer that from the operating expense contingency into the operating reserve at 627 water quality budget, because this work commenced in July. ERS still has material inside. They're ready to move again. Work. And deferring the repairs, the inspection is just labor to remove everything and crawl filter and all the confined space entries. So the alternatives or next steps would be $230 for repairs, $700 $170 for contingency to perform the work described in the filter inspection results and scope of work repair section of this board memo, and authorize the transfer of $185,000 from the fiscal year expense budget to fund the work. Or option 2, other direction is.
Thank you, Director. Comments from the board? Cox?
Let's really appreciate this that different water agencies have with each other. The fact that Helix reached out because they knew what you had and you're sharing that information. So kudos to them and kudos to you. I hope it's kind of, you said one of the filters was inspected this month and we have 4, correct? So what about the other filters?
So we did put money in the 627 budget to perform another filter inspection.
Okay, so subsequent inspections to determine if there's any different kind of repairs that
Correct.
you're seeing or needing.
Correct. So at this point, of course, at this time, it's under filter and find that there make some decisions. If we get in the other filter and we don't find that there's any damage to the grout and our caps and those sands move through, we're different and some may not.
Or will you be able to see any difference in water quality coming out of filter 4 versus the other 3 that haven't been?
Possibly. However, like I mentioned, this filter wasn't taken out of service because it was not filtering properly. So, but that is a good question, and that's something we'll have to look at carefully once we have something that we can kind of consider baseline, right? When Helix first let us know about this, we used the tools that we have to see if we had a problem, and so we looked at our wash water rates and the percent open a valve back many years in time and compared those rates, you know, going back probably 10 years to current time, and we didn't see any that we had available in SCADA that we probably don't have a problem. So we picked up in instrumentation.
Okay.
Necessarily.
And the filter rehab program was done less than 20 years ago, about 2008 or so.
2008.
So what is the expected life?
I don't know what the expected life is. I mean, I could just tell you filter under drain systems, so it lasts a long time. The old systems, they kind of backwashing, so we wanted to make other improvements at the time, but I don't know if that's really answering your question.
With the failures that Helix experienced with Leopold, is there any sort of warranty?
So, you know, ERS warranty their work for 1 year. There's would be a very expensive capital project.
Mm-hmm.
Very good repairs.
It's all source.
It's a separate item.
The staff report in the future. I mean, you made the justification, but just would be helpful. The bottom of page 163 mentions that, quote, media environment, and it popped into my mind, like, could this have been a contributor to that?
I don't believe.
For a recommendation for
So move, Madam Chair.
thank you.
Second.
Other comments?
Cox?
Aye.
Director Delgado?
Yes.
Director Martinez is absent. Director Martinez Perez?
Aye.
Director Morris is absent. Passes unanimously with Directors Martinez and Morrison absent.
Ms. Yastin, thank you. To approve the fiscal year 2026-2027 strategic plan, detailed work plan. This is the opportunity for members of the public to speak on item 8.4. Any public comments?
There's no public comments, Chair.
Thank you, Board Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. You know, we did have a workshop to talk about the proposed strategic plan. Strike community work group to the Sweetwater Authority Forum. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. We have staff available. Also, there are specific questions on any of these topics.
Chair, as you know, I reached out to the GM on Monday to ask for the track changes version to kind of guide us towards what changes were made. I didn't hear back for the meeting tonight.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Need a motion to approve this? Consideration to approve the fiscal year 2026-2027.
I'll go ahead.
Madam Secretary?
Director Castañeda?
Yes.
Director Cox?
Aye.
Director Delgado?
Aye.
Director Martinez? Director Morrison is absent. Director Yamani?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously with
5, consideration to approve the editorial is the opportunity for members of the public to speak on item 8. Board Secretary, are there any public
Forum. Carla, chlorination.
Council, I still have items, but I don't have a
Take a 10-minute recess.
10-minute recess. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Dude. Presentation. Well, I mean, can make everyone happy.
Not as much as me, but she rides a lot. She's about 2 months.
you know, something new, and I did an audit on one of these, you know, members that does virtual, but they weren't, you know, you under this meeting posted
They're not used to a banter back and forth.
5 more minutes. He got like he likes
You're done. You know.
Unmute. Okay.
Director Martinez Perez, can you hear us? Okay. Director Martinez Perez?
Might have stepped
Okay. Council? Said the board will be going into closed session. However, they will only hear session. An attempt will be made to make an oral and non-reportable act. If there are any technical difficulties, a written report out of closed session which will include will be posted on the authorities' website. By the end of the day, Thursday.
And other meetings too. We are quite familiar with.
I defer to you, Council.
Thank you, Chair. The board will now convene into closed session pursuant to items 18.1, 18.2, on 18.2. Again, conference with labor to negotiate public employee performance evaluation pursuant to government code section.
To change our
And will disseminate the close.
Please, that'd be helpful.
Yes.
So I can have it in Director Martinez Perez can have it too.
okay. Okay.
So open session is closed.
They don't. Okay.
You don't have to go, but it's closed. I mean, nothing else is going to
report back?
I'll report out.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Okay.
I just,
If I go repeat.
I'm going to have you come over here to the board conference. No, it's over here.
right, so you want to kick me out?
You have the work conference room where the lobby.
Attorney,
He just started.
he, he just started and you guys can't run your own things.
Okay, Robert, I'm not
You
going
know,
to. Do you want to wait in here or in the lobby?
I said, if you're kicking me out, I will.
Until
All right.
they're out of closed session. I'll come in.
It's up to that room, right? You see them all leave? Well, see what's going on in closed session, you guys? Because they can't even do their jobs. I'm telling you, like, do you think it's me? Well, it's them. You could go tell them. Come to the window. And I'm like, well, it's how professional they are, you guys. Dude, when people watch this video, they're gonna love this. They're gonna love it. I mean, violation. off her camera. Told you. Bro. Dude, they don't even want the public to comment. And then I'm supposed to comment on what? The paperwork? They dude. And she's like, you tell me, one guy, lawyer, they didn't even know that. And they was like, no, we don't want to hear any more public comment. I was like, hold on, I'm going to get in on this. Like it was open. I'm like, no, it's on the timer. The timer went off. Chair of this board is the chair of another board all the time. Yamani. I don't know. I just. Yeah. No, we don't. Not from there. Ty, large issue? No, we are from different. Just gonna have a quick. Not leave. Okay. Oh, there is certificate. very high ball. Because I want because of you seem pretty level-headed. San Diego, they have a facility. By Claremont Mesa Boulevard. But when there's a public meeting, they still require kind of like you keep it locked. Submitted it to the same. But I don't one of the members my presentation and here fun till you're the one getting arrested. Like I'm not paid to do. Right. I feel like they're gonna like try to go, oh, he's not here, we don't have to tell him, but I'm watching.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that more than no.
Oh, no, there's no.
Oh. Cox supported my position about the that is, but we'll highlight that, right? We'll
like during my public comment and he came back, they don't have to follow the rules, obviously. Obviously, there's issues. Obviously. The Sweetwater Authority Board and make it more after you've already publicly commented. And if I can't make a question after the presentation, then normally we go presentation, public comment, commissioner or board comments, because it's that's called discrimination. And discriminate against my access to malicious in that intent. They know what they're doing. They want to say the paperwork was out. Yeah, but they didn't. I'm limited on the questions because I wasn't privy to the public information before. And in a public hearing before the public hearing. So yeah, it's not good. So I'm looking into whether members can so and then so they know what quorum is, but they don't know when they have it. To waste the public time and video will show is that they left and they had to call them to the news don't even write stories like this, huh? they did this to me last night at another meeting. Grace. Then, you know, thank you. And then they instantly take the presentation after my. You don't deserve my thanks anymore. They all looked at me and they were like, what? After how am I supposed to talk about presentation? It's after I talk. Hard concept. As far as I know, this is every meeting.
The board convened out of closed session.
Ms. Cox, I really appreciate
Cold and wet, and hot and wet, depending on which day it was. So,
Well, I hope tonight.
okay, you know, I didn't get to hear.
They even ran out of the room, two of them, and then caused no quorum. Have a good night, guys. He's gonna get the cease and cure, you know. But you take care. And I think it's interesting, a couple of these They don't even want to say nothing. All right, guys, we're gonna edit there. You have it's Chula Vista Live Data Sweetwater Authority meeting